Hello everyone, this is your chess friend here, and today we'll be playing another quick game of chess, and I will be explaining my thought process. So, opponent's playing e4, which is a good move. Again, capturing center square, and then he's going to play d4 next move, which is an okay move. If I capture, he'll be recapturing with the queen, but I think that's fine for me, really. Okay, queen takes on d4. From here I'm going to develop the knight to c6 with some tempo on the queen. So it just lets me develop quickly while also putting pressure, well, not pressure, but forcing the opponent to waste a move with their queen. So this is a nice move in the opening. I'm expecting maybe queen d1, queen e3, queen d3, queen d3, that also works, yeah. I'm thinking knight f6 is a good move to threaten the pawn, especially now that the pawn can't go to e5. So I think knight to f6 is nice in this position. Perhaps bishop to g5. Nope, he's going to play f3. f3 is an okay move. I think I'm going to... It's between bishop to c5, taking advantage of this new open diagonal, or d5, trying to trade pawns. I think bishop to c5 is fine. He's not really going to stop d5 quickly, although knight to c3 might be a good way to stop it, just having pressure on that square. So yeah, I think I'll play d5 now while I have the chance. I think he's going to recapture. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't, especially because e5 simply loses the pawn. So I expect him to recapture, but it's possible he plays something like knight c3, trying to force me to capture so he can recapture the pawn. That's good for him because he'll have a central pawn on the e file while I won't have any central pawns. And that's usually bad for you because you want to have control of the center, and the best way to do that is with pawns. Looks like, okay, bishop to g5. That's an okay square for the bishop, quite a powerful one, but doesn't seem to be nothing. Well, it's nothing I can't deal with. Looks like he wants me to simply ignore it with something like bishop to e7 so that he can capture, recapture, and win the pawn here, but I'm not gonna let that happen. So I think the best move is bishop to e6, simply developing the bishop to an all-right square and adding a defender to the pawn. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing. If we do see knight c3, then I think we will be forced to capture on e4. Another alternative is, well, one of the bad things with him playing f3 is that he can't go knight to f3. He's forced to put it to the e2 square, which is definitely better for me. And the queen on d3 really blocks in his bishop. So he'll be a bit weaker, his king will be. In fact, this might be a position where it's okay for him to castle to the queen's, queenside, so that his king isn't weak on the king's side. So queen to b5, that's a move, I guess, that he can make, but it doesn't seem to be a very high impact. He's trying to take on b7, but that's not a very big threat, is it? Let's see what I want to do here. I could stop taking on b7 by going rook b8, but that's quite a passive move, so I'm trying to find something a bit more active that also deals with the threat. Queen c8 isn't awful. Actually, queen c8 is not too good. It does look like I have to play rook b8 though, because b6 hangs the knight. If I go b6, then you can take the knight, so it does look like it has to be rook b8 here, which is a little unfortunate because I would prefer not to play that move. Actually, if I play rook to b8, he has e5, taking advantage of the new pin with the queen. So that's not exactly great. Looks like I have to give up the pawn, kind of. Yeah, it does look like I have to give up the pawn. So I think the best way to give up the pawn is with bishop to d7. perhaps, to try to hurt the queen's escape. Yeah, it looks like bishop to d7 is going to be all I can play here. Although I could play d takes e4 first, and then if he recaptures, I can capture again. No, I can't. I have to take that. This is complicated. Let me think for a little bit longer. I'm thinking that I should capture on e4. He'll recapture. Bishop d7 looks fine. He can capture here, winning a pawn, but then rook to b8 wins a different pawn. So I think that's fine. If he pushes to here, I can recapture with the knight. I think that works just barely, but I'm not entirely confident. If he captures now, I think we're fine. Just maybe bishop d7 if he captures on b7. Yeah, that's what I expected. We do have a nice in-between move. No, we don't. I was thinking bishop to b4 with a check to develop the bishop, and then maybe after knight c4, then bishop to d5, but we can't because he can block with the pawn, and then we have a knight and a bishop under attack. So it does look like we have to go bishop to d7, which that's not a bad move, I don't think. We'll be fine with that. I'm just looking at maybe queen to d5. No, that lets him take here, and then we have to recapture with our pawn, which really weakens our king. So it does look like we have to either move the knight to e5, but that lets him take on a7 after we play rook to b8. So I do think bishop d7 is our best move here. Although it doesn't feel too good to make that move. We kind of have to. So it's okay. I think we're still fine. We're tied up by material, and he won't be winning anymore. Well, he'll be winning a pawn, but I think I can win it back. Ooh, bishop takes on f6. I didn't expect this move. It's just not very good. He's taking a pinned piece, so there wasn't any reason he should do that. Actually, never mind. He's putting a threat. His queen's attacking the rook, so we have to recapture with the g-pawn. Okay. Well, that makes his move better because it weakens our king's side, but it's still not phenomenal, you know. It would have been better for him if we hadn't seen it, so that's okay for us. Bishop to b5. That doesn't seem very good, actually. Did he trap his queen? No. Just close. He was close to doing it, but no, not quite. Looks like rook b8. It's my first instinct, thinking that if he takes here, we can take his queen, forcing his... And actually, rook b8 forces his queen to a6, which I think is just a fine move. Yeah, I think that's just okay. Then actually, we have a double attack next turn. If he moves to a6, we can move knight to b4, forking the queen and this pawn, which comes with a check. So that's nice. Ooh, we do give up a pawn, but we win. Yeah, this was the fork I was talking about. So we're winning material here, I think, unless of queen a4. But queen a4 isn't too good. He could play an in-between move. Bishop takes d7, but the queen can recapture, so I think we're just fine. My guess is queen a4. No, he's going to capture, queen captures, and then queen a4. No, that loses a queen. Okay, I think we're winning material here. I'm confident that we win material here. Because it's just a tactic. Actually, do we win material? Yeah, we win material, even after queen takes... I'm expecting queen takes a7, knight takes, and then because of the queen cutting through this file, the king has to move to a square where it doesn't actually threaten the knight. So then, okay, never mind. We aren't winning material. I don't know what I'm saying. I made a mistake, but we're fine here. We're equal on material. We don't have exactly a much better position, but I think we can manage. We can manage for sure. Here we have to go f takes e3, however. Otherwise, we're going to be losing materials. Not material, but we'll be losing the pawn, which we don't want to do. And then next turn, we can go queen to e6, forcing a trade of queens. So that's nice. And it also improves our pawn structure, letting us get a central pawn. So that's quite nice for us. Although he could go queen to e2 to block the check. Although at that point we have knight to c2 with a check. So I doubt he's going to be playing that. Yeah. Okay, yeah. He played what's expected. I would have liked to play knight c2 here with check, but we can't, as our king was in danger. Knight to a3. I'm glad we forced that, because otherwise we would have taken on c2. So it's nice that he played that instead of a different move. We're going to go knight to d5, I think. Retreating the knight slightly, but also giving us this nice attack, because he doesn't want us to recapture here. It also opens this line where we're threatening his knight, so that's nice for us. He's gonna castle, which is a fine move, I think we have a couple options. We can either capture on a2 and castle, or we can take on b2, winning a pawn, and then perhaps, like, if he moves the knight away, that's fine. Where is he going to move that? He's going to move the knight here with tempo on the rook. So actually, I don't like that. I think we should win this way. I think this is a better move to play for a win. Because the other, well, taking on b2 lets him have too much tempo. And his king is already safe, so while ours is never really going to be super safe. So I think it's just better to play for an advantage this way by just consolidating and being more safe. Yep, he recaptured. We're going to castle while we can. This also helps get the h8 rook into the game because it's better on f8 than h8. Okay, knight to d... Knight to d4 is an okay move. It's going after the e6 pawn. I think e5 is the best way to defend it, though. It allows him to move here and attack these two squares, but actually the c pawn is defended, so we're just fine to move the rook wherever we really like. Probably to f7 though. Yeah, I think f7 is the best place to move the rook. Let's just double check, make sure we're not plundering anything. Yeah, this is an okay move. Next turn we can go rook to e8 or rook to e7 to force the knight to the c5 square, which is definitely worse than its current square. We can also go rook b2 soon. I think, okay. Threatening the knight. Oh, actually, he missed an important tactic. Knight to c3 is good for us, although it doesn't win because he can go rook to d8, forcing a trade, attacking our rook, and then we'll capture his rook, he'll capture our rook, we'll capture with the king. But I think we have a better pawn structure, so we're still going to be winning that line with our pawn structure. So I think we're still okay here, even if we trade all the way down to pawns. Although we are kind of low on time. That's what I expected. He's going to recapture with the knight. Yep, we're going to take his rook. He's going to take ours. And then we're going to... Well, we have actually an option. Do we want to retreat the knight to this square? Probably not, because he can also retreat his knight pretty easily. So no, I think it's better to recapture. And then from here, the first thing you want to do is you want to develop your king as much as you can when you get to a late endgame. Yep, we both developed our king quite well. Next thing you want to do is make sure your opponent's pawns don't get out of hand. So I think f5 is a good way to do that, because this is where we're going to promote, obviously, with something like this. So it's good to push your pawns while also stopping his. This is a nice move, simply pushing his king to a square where it shouldn't be, or Probably doesn't want to be. Although it does force us to move our king to e5 because you don't want to let your king, you don't want to let the opponent's king get to your pawns. So this looks like it's going to be a draw, but I think if one of us is winning, it's going to be me. Let's try it. An important thing is Zugzwang, which is where it's one player's turn, but both players want it to be the other's turn. So that's when it's important to count tempo. Let's see. He has 1, 2. I can go 1, 2. Oh, but I have a nice tempo working. I get to go 1, 2 here. So I think it cancels out. And I'd rather go a6 because a6, I can meet it to waste another. So here, I think it's more about who gets to move second, not who gets to move first. So since I get to waste a move and he gets to waste a move, we both get to waste moves, basically. And I get to waste a little more. Okay, we're really low on time, so I'm going to have to move really quickly here. So I'm going to be hovering moves, which is when you get really ready to make a move quickly. But I think we can win this pawn race to promote. Yeah, we're up a pawn now. So from here it should be easy. Oops, made a wrong move. Should have gone to c4. If he captures, I'm going to move the pawn. If he doesn't capture, I'm going to go... Oh, I win. From here he can't catch up to my pawn, and I can catch up to his, so he should have just been moving pawns that turn though. From here I think we can win, but I might have to stop commentating because I need to move quickly. This is good. I get to capture a pawn, 2 pawns. He's trying to time me out, so I think I haven't enabled pre-moves, but a main thing that's important to know is that if the opponent has no material left and you run out of time, it's actually a draw, not a loss. So I'm going to be running him out of material just to make sure that I can't lose. Whoops. This is going to be difficult. I think c5. I think this is going to be a draw based on time, but we can maybe flatten his king a little bit more to try to force a checkmate. Unfortunately, I haven't enabled pre-moves, which is going to be very bad, because with pre-moves, you can already make the move, and then just as soon as your opponent makes his move, you make yours. I won by abandonment, which is like resignation, but he quit. So thank you all for watching. This is a game we played. We've broken 1,000 rating. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm a little shaken up after that game. I was trying to move really quickly, so might not have the best exit ever, but thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Bye.